Welcome to the Sounds of the World. We are your hosts, Hillary and Bill.
Together, we're going to travel around the world to discover new music, discuss musical topics, and interview fascinating people.
Our world is a buffet of music, and it is time to eat. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to Sounds of the World podcast. On today's episode, we have a very special guest here. I first came across her when I saw an Instagram video of this strange-sounding instrument. I had no idea what it was, but I wanted to learn more, of course. I looked up the name of the performer in the video and saw, just through a chance to message her on Facebook. Little did I know that she would take me up on in this interview. She was born in Bratislava, Slovakia, and now lives and works in Vienna, Austria. She attended the Conservatory in Bratislava and is attending the University of Vienna. At the University of Vienna, she finished a flute performance degree and is now working on a flute pedagogy degree, which she'll hopefully finish this year. She's currently teaching one-on-one and virtual lessons. She's performed on soundtracks of films including Klaus, which aired on Netflix during Christmas, and the upcoming film Over the Moon, which is set to be released on Netflix October 23rd. She's on the Orange Mountain music label, which is dedicated to performing the music of Philip Glass. She's gone on to perform many tours with Ennio Morricone. And aside from traditional Western family of the modern flute, she also performs on various flutes from all over the world, including the shriegel, tin whistle, low whistle, bansuri, shakuhachi, ocarina, and of course, the fujara. It was the fujara that completely blew my mind, and I had to find out more about it. So let's not wait any longer and welcome Veronika Vitazkova.
Woo! Hey, hi, nice to be here.
Thank you so much for joining. Now, I said your last name right? Vitazkova?
Vitazkova.
Vitazkova, okay.
Perfect.
Okay, perfect. So perfect. Well, thank you again for taking up this wild idea of interviewing being on our podcast. I heard that video that was shared on, I don't remember what it was, but
it was on the ClassicalFM, English radio.
Oh, I love ClassicalFM.
Yeah, and they share funny and cool videos and so on, and suddenly they just write me on Instagram if they can share a video, which I did 3 months ago, out of nothing. And I was like, wow, they have the name, next to the name, there's this blue button, oh, cool, fancy. And they just said, of course, and they give me the credit as thank you, and they just did it. And then I was sitting on the coffee, and suddenly my Instagram, follower, really cool feeling, yeah, well, yes. Now it's calm. Now it's calmed again. Now it's calm again. But I got many new contacts. That's really, I see the virtual world. It has some power. Yeah. Now it has 7 or 1,800,000 views.
Wow.
My living room. I should clean that before or something.
If I had only known.
And then some people writing me can you play next time in the forest? It would look better on the picture. Okay. I just go to the forest.
Let me call my agent. We'll arrange that, and we'll be in the forest.
So have you had a lot of people contact you about the fujara and performing more?
Like some 2 or 3 online concerts few people which want to learn it, and many people which want to buy it and ask me who made it and so on.
Oh, wow.
And now this guy, I asked him today, like, I have now the fujara, it's cool, but you have also this koncoka and this dvojačka, like different folk instruments. Do you do that? Yeah, I do that, and I got also like many new followers because you promoted me, so I make you a big discount, no problem. So now I'm like, I will collect more instruments and play and do videos and performing. Like, that's cool.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
And it's Corona time. I mean, there's not lots of things going on here. I mean, all big events, and I normally play in orchestra a lot, and only 50 people can be inside, and only the orchestra is already too much.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's nice that there's something going on online.
Yeah, it's kind of nice to see like this new, I don't know, I feel like desperate times call for new innovation. So it's really cool to see music take off in a new light, and still get to play.
Yeah.
Crazy to hear how those, someone from something like ClassicalFM or someone else will share something, and the next thing you know, people are just like all over your Instagram or sending you messages on Facebook, and kind of out of nowhere you get a little 15.
And also like, you have a nice smile and so on, like, okay. Like, that was not really the point of it, but thank you very much. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to take the bad with the good sometimes.
Or next time, just a sound file and a picture of the nature.
Yeah.
There you go.
Picture of the forest.
And that was his point. Like, I shouldn't be there at all.
Oh, I love this.
Some people are just incorrigible, aren't they? They're just... So
No, it's really cute. Like, I smile on it.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit like about your background. I mean, how did you start in the flutes? I mean, is that something you just started? You picked up when you were younger? Did you take lessons?
So it's like I'm only child, and my parents were like two different personalities. My mom go to school, learn the stuff, and then go to next school, and you will be better. My father, crazy, do everything yourself, learn it by doing, like never. If you go to conservatory, it comes from the word conserve, what means like the dose, like the bottle. They will just, your eyes will be like the horse, you will not see on the sides and so on. So that was the fight of my parents. So I went to the, the music school when I was like 6 or 7.
Mm-hmm.
But we came too late because my father promised that he will take me, but he took his time. I came like 2 weeks later for the inscription. So there was not a good teacher anymore, but they gave me to just some, not really a lady. She was really strict with me. Okay. I played the recorder and I played like 2 notes, and she said, no, wrong, again. And I was crying and going out and like, I don't want to come here. And so my father took me home and said like, no, this is not a good idea. Let's do it at home by learning by doing. And then we went to some music shop. It was like 1997. I was 7 years old, and there was this like package, and there was 1 tin whistle, 1 cassette, and a book of some Irish songs, and with the fingerings like put 2 up and 2 down and so on. Yes. And I started to play at home by heart, and I heard the cassette, and this is my father played guitar like an amateur, and we had a kind of band and we were playing. So I didn't really learn scores or nothing. But then later I was like 13 and thinking, okay, then my mom came in again. Like, okay, you like music, you should continue and get some education in this direction. And okay, that tin whistle, who is teaching tin whistle? Like, I should go to Ireland, and I was in Slovakia. So we were thinking about the normal flute. I went to the old teacher, and in 2 years I learned enough, so I went to the conservatory when I was 15. Wow. And then I started to learn classical music and really fighting with reading, sight reading. I played all this by ears, and I see here what a huge advantage it is, because all my colleagues with these degrees, they're really blocked. Like, not many are amazing, but plenty of them are so blocked to and play only what's in score, and they learn this is the note, and you have to press this key. And if you do something what's not allowed, then you're out of the game. And if I tell them that I just picked up this instrument, that instrument, and trying it out, wow, how can you do that? You have no, like, I'm trying. So I think I got really the best combination of my parents, which both tried to do the best for what they thought, and I'm the mixture of it. Like I got to the education, I got to Vienna because I had a really good flute teacher in Bratislava, really, really nice lady, and she pushed me and said, like, go to study at the university, but not in Slovakia. You can go anywhere, but no Slovakia. There's no good teacher for you here. And so I went like 50 kilometers away. And then studied classical flute and classical and Mozart and all these things, and I really like it. But still inside is this, I was also playing with my father in the bands and in garages and in the rock bands. So I'm open for all these different things than just my suit and playing Mozart. So I'm this mixture. Now, after I finish the Concertfach, like the performance studies, every year I feel more and more free. Like, oh, the university give me so much, but I can still do whatever I want. Like, I have now the educational background. I can explain everything, but I can play whatever I want. And this was also the one way how I got to the fujara. Okay. I taught in the recording studio where I'm recording these soundtracks and so on, to the one who is always ordering the instruments. Okay, I need flute, I need clarinet. And I told him once, like, I play also some ethnic instruments, like the Indian bansuri, if you need, or the shregel, or the whistle. If you need something, I'm here, I can record. Like, you don't have to call anyone from the other side of the world. I learn it, I do it. And he's like, cool, I keep it in mind. And then a few months later, he just called me, Veronika, do you know what fujara? I was like, yes, fujara is, so I didn't tell, but fujara is a big flute, which I know from like radio and television in Slovakia because it's very connected with the folklore. It comes from that time. People have always nice dresses and are singing and dancing and then playing fujara. Really, really, really nice, but I come from Bratislava. I was never in these villages and never doing this like a tradition.
Right.
But I was like, how difficult can it be? I asked, it was in February last year, and I asked, when is the concert? And he said, June. Yeah, I can play fujara, no problem. Then next week I went to Slovakia and I found some friends which I thought they had a connection. Then I borrowed some instruments and tried out and I mean, it's fascinating. It's a very fascinating instrument, and I fell in love with it.
And the fujara is such a cool instrument because at first it looked like my grandfather called the bassoon a bedpost. And so the fujara kind of looks like that in a way too. I mean, super tall above your head.
Yeah, it's beautiful, and also it's very traditional to make those gravings on it. It's beautiful gravings, and that takes even longer time than to build the fujara itself. Like that's a masterpiece. Many people have the fujaras just at home, just in the corner from the grandfather. Wow. And they don't use it, and it's already very dry. You have to take care of the instrument. And when it's standing and you don't play, then it doesn't get better. But they have it there, and that's like what they got from him. Or when some president comes to Slovakia, often he gets a gift, like he gets fujara. That's a kind of symbol. But I never connected like flute player, Slovakian. Fujara. I never connected that. First, when I got this, and it was to play it, and that was very fun. It was in front of the orchestra and with the Januszka ensemble. That's a really, really amazing ensemble of musicians, like brothers. And they play Januszka style. That's a mix of gypsy and classical music, but and jazz, but such a level. It's amazing. You have to Google Januszka ensemble. They're just mind-blowing guys, and I even didn't know how good they were. I was on the rehearsal, we were playing and having fun, and I was playing on the first piece with them, like it was an orchestra piece, and they were soloist, and me too. And then in the second half, I had time, so I was sitting in the audience, and then I saw how good they are. Like, oh, I just played it again. No. They are like, there's good and there's very good, but they are like amazing. The energy, like the all old people, which normally just clap like, not bad, like Austrian audience, like they were on their feet and screaming. Yeah, amazing. So I'm happy I realized how amazing they are after I play with them, because during I will be like, foo.
Yeah.
They're like kind of starstruck, like, oh my god.
They were really nice. It was really fun. So that was the first gig I had with this instrument. I played on the borrowed instrument, of course, like I didn't buy it. And then like after the concert, like I earned some money, I can buy from that money the instrument. And then everyone knew I have this instrument and played that gig. And now they're asking me to play fujara all around the place. So it's really funny. You know, like studying all live flute, you know, all live doing stuff and practicing and having exercising and master classes. And then I pick a big piece of wood and make fun and it's just, can you give me a lesson? So beautiful. Wow, how do you do that? And what's also very interesting, in Slovakia it's very typical that only men play the fujara. Because to get to the origin, like these Valachs from Romania brought it to the Tatras, and they were all shepherds. And in the long winters, dark winters, they were at home and they took a big piece of wood and made the fujara, or made spoons, or made tables, you know, like they were really, in winter there was not so much to do outside. And somehow this tradition came here, and also the Gravings they had so much time, so they really did it beautifully. And these shepherds also are talking about the fujara is about the woman. That's a woman and he's a man, and they love the woman they have. You know, like,
yeah.
And it's really unusual that woman plays it. So in Slovakia, are people quite shocked when I play? Wow, I never saw a woman playing this instrument.
I didn't know this was possible.
So that's really nice to totally make a different connection. Yeah, and I'm experiencing everything now, like as I'm getting the gigs and how do people actually think about it. And I'm trying to get better and better. And let's see. I want to make a CD with some meditative music with it because it's so calming. I love the sound.
It's a very cool sound, and I never even knew that the history was so kind of male dominated. It's cool that you're out there breaking that up.
Yeah.
Break the gender norms.
So maybe you could explain to us like how the fujara works, because it's not like a regular flute where you kind of like the Western flute that we usually are taught about, where you blow over the hole and the sound is the wind going over the hole.
Yes, actually it is. You have the big tube, and on the top of the big tube, it looks actually like a huge recorder. Only you don't blow from the upside, but there's another tube which is connected to the big tube, so your head doesn't have to be 1.70 meters up there. And it's just like, and there's just a hole where you put a mouthpiece, but the mouthpiece is just how do you call it? It's not really a mouthpiece, it's just a wooden tube, a little wooden tube you put in your mouth. And it has 3 holes. So when I cover all holes and play the whole length of the fujara, it makes just the overtone scale. That's it. Like I control everything just with the air pressure.
Okay.
That's everything. And then there are these 3 holes, which I can do actually some diatonic scale on it. Okay. But it's also not so much in tune, because in these cultures it's often the third low, or kind of not high enough, you know, like something in between, and that makes the character also very sad and nostalgic and very beautiful. And the combination, it's only 3 holes, but you have to do it with 2 hands because the fujara is really big. So you cover with the first hand the 1 hole, and the second hand I use this part. How to explain? How to call this?
Palm by your thumb.
Yeah, and then the finger. So I play like this.
Wow. So you have to kind of lay it over top the bottom of it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm on Facebook, there's one fujara group. It's in Slovakian, Czech, Polish. And there's like, there are many these people which are making fujaras and giving tips how to build one. And there are many people around the world which got so in love with the sound. When they once heard it, they just wanted to build one themselves.
That's so cool.
Yeah, also from plastic, for example.
Wow. Yeah.
Or these 3D printers, these printers which can make, like, there are people which are doing that. It's amazing. And you can calculate afterwards you can calculate the intonation better.
Like, you could design the length of the tube.
Yeah.
The sound you're going to get.
Yeah, but I love the wood. And the maker which did my fujara, Milan Koristik, that just sounds, it's really good instrument. Like,
well, there's so much character in the wooden instruments that you kind of miss with the plastic. I mean, maybe try to, I don't know, it just doesn't resonate the same.
yeah, but difficult because sometimes when you don't even see and you just think it's wood, that's a difficult question if the material is so important. But I mean, it's a traditional instrument and I love to have it from wood, and it works so much. When I play, after I play it 10 minutes, it sounds very differently as on the beginning. It's maybe the same as when you have a new violin or something. You just need to get the sound out of it, and the instrument had to get used. Where's the pitch which you have to hit? So it's never good when the instrument is just staying there for 2 weeks and no one's touching it. It needs like lots of love and attention. It really asks for attention. And these shepherds, like in the mountains, just with the sheep and so on, they really like have this connection. And every shepherd has a different signal to say the another one where he is and so on, like they could say. And another really, really important, interesting thing, you maybe know these videos when someone is playing piano or cello in the field where cows, they all come to the instrument, right? To the sound. If it's pleasant.
Yeah.
And
now they're going to come attack you.
Nobody still playing the horn.
Shut that up!
And if you play, so I never tried it yet, but I will. But I heard when you play in the field, as the shepherds did, they could manage to keep the sheep on the part of the field where they wanted. So they didn't run all around the place and didn't eat the grass everywhere, which was bad. So he just focused to do it on one part, and the next days on a different one. So it was also very economically for the grass. So it was not stepped on all the time. So there's also really practical, and they had better milk and better wool, and that's what they sent me.
That's amazing. I mean, because if you're always giving them the best grass, and you're really taking care of the land, you're taking care of your animals. What a cool life! You're gonna play music all day. I'm sure it was really cold though.
Yeah, but I also think this really dark sounds and it's so full and so warm. Mm-hmm. It's doing good for listener. Like for the listener, it's just beautiful. You can also play like aggressively. That's the point of this overtone scale. When you want to play low, you don't play loud, because as soon as you have the higher air pressure, you play higher notes. Mm-hmm. So automatically low, you play really quietly and pleasant and intimate, and up, it's a signal. It's really loud and strong and aggressive. Yeah. So it has this beautiful contrast inside.
And listen to this.
I really think when the corona ends, I would really love to visit the maker, because I didn't see him yet. I would love to meet him, and I mean, he lives normal life. He's just building fujaras, but not far away from his place are still some shepherds and this tradition, and they have festivals where they're dancing and singing, and
that sounds amazing.
Like some fujara festival, and trying instruments from different makers and with different gravings, and they have funny stories, like that's with the community there, and that's just fascinating. And this is what happens. And this is what happens with every single instrument I started to learn. Also, this Indian bansuri, I took a lesson from one Austrian girl, but she spent like half of her life in India. She got just fascinated. She has the right point here, and I came to the lesson, and we sat on the ground with the carpet, and we were listening to tabla sounds, and we were just playing octaves and quints, like for 1 hour. And she's explaining that the system is very different from Western, and so satisfying after studying university in Vienna, classical, and you have to do it perfectly, and you have to do this and this and this, and then you are a great artist. To take it from a totally different side and approach and culture, where all this doesn't matter. It's connected with something totally different, and it makes me so free. It's beautiful.
They get to explore. They have their ragas, their scales, and they get to just explore. And like, there's like all these pitches. Oh, cool!
And they play different ragas in the morning and different ragas in the evening. I play the same notes in the morning and the evening. Different mindset, and that's fascinating. And more I know from each instrument, more I want to learn, and it's getting difficult because it's more and more.
The more you know, the more you're like, I don't know, and then I need to learn more, and I want to learn more.
Exactly.
I face that all the time when I'm like, well, what should we look into next? And it's like, oh my gosh, there's so much I don't know still. I assume since you only have 3 holes and it's all on the overtone series, is it difficult to really like make sure you hit the right pitch? And I mean, that's got to take some time to learn and really know that you're landing on the right interval. And that's the reason you're mostly improvising on the fujara. That's it's not so often something in scores, because it's wood and it's this natural instrument. It's not built with mathematics, and it's really moody. So when there's wet or dry or cold, and I'm still exploring it. So when you really have to hit some notes, mostly you begin with da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, so hello, I'm here, let's blow some warm air inside and see what's the situation like. And then you land on some note which you suppose, okay, I would like to start from this note, now this melody. So it's really moody, and but I know people which manage the instruments amazingly, so it's possible, and I'm working on it, and I'm getting better. More I play, the instrument is getting like in touch with me, and exactly as I said, the instrument gets used to the pressure which I do, which note I want. At some point, it really does it. Same as you, because my boyfriend plays violin and he has a new violin and he has to get used to the violin for the tones. Like this tone, the violin doesn't like to play immediately. And the same is with fujara. And then I'm also like, we're both here in each room and trying to hit the notes.
Keep it down over there. Keep it down over there.
But and then the next day it works way better. So that's really
that's amazing.
Beautiful. And then
break it in.
In 2 days you don't do anything, and then it gets again worse. So really moody. I think this really good connection is like a woman, like for the shepherds. When they don't take care, it gets dry and it doesn't make the music you want.
Nobody's having a good time. Nobody's happy.
I'm just going to drink. I'm not answering that. I'm not saying
Good. That's the perfect answer, though.
But that's the definition of fujara. Really, that's what people told me. So I'm just telling you what I know.
That's too funny.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
So how often do you try to play every day, or do you kind of every other day, or?
Every second day I try, Yeah,
just to keep it like in your brain and make sure.
Like in the instrument, because it's not really so difficult. It's just to hit the note, that's the difficult part. So you have to be in contact with the instrument, and then you get used to it. And the good part, I have a really like a Ferrari fujara. Normally it's just in one part, but I have one in 3 parts.
Okay.
So I can really carry it around. That's perfect. Number one. Plus, I can put down the lower part with the 3 holes and put a shorter one. And then the mouthpiece I put in a different place and cover the hole. And then I have fujara in A.
Oh.
Whoa.
So it's a really like I have a double 2-in-1.
Yeah. So versatile.
Yeah.
So do they come in different pitches?
Yeah. I have one in G, and when I change, it's in A. But the G is the most common because also of the folk music, only one sharp, like.
Simple to sing, easy. It's a good range for the human voice.
Yeah, exactly. And but I heard there are also one in F. I would love to try it, but it's maybe too big for me. I have to try if I can manage.
Yeah.
And they are way shorter. And even the shortest one are among the shepherds. How to say? They like them because they are small and they can carry them around and play.
Yeah, a little more portable.
So yeah. But they didn't have the one which you can put in 3 parts.
How much does it weigh? Like, how heavy is it?
I don't know. I don't know.
You're really strong after you've played it, or?
No, not so heavy. You push it on your body.
Okay, so you're kind of supporting it on yourself.
Yeah. But a really funny story about this Fujara group on Facebook, where all the information I want to know, I asked the people which they do it and play it. I asked them, I played the tour and I played their 7 different instruments like soundtrack music and so on. Mm-hmm. And like after 1 hour, I have to play Fujara, and my hands are sweating because there are the lights and people are breathing, and so it gets just warm because you're on the stage. And I asked the group if there are any tricks how to play Fujara so it's not. Because you have no place where to hold it, you just press it on your body with fingers.
Yeah.
And it's slippery when, when there's really warm outside. And I asked the group if they have some trick. I was hoping for some nice answers. I also got later some, you can use the saxophone holder.
Neck strap that they...
Yeah, exactly. And it's possible to do, and I got plenty of these tips. But the first answer was from one man. And he said, Fujara, Veronika, wait. Don't push. Enjoy the instrument. Listen to Fujara, and you will see. And you will not care who is writing what here. It's just trust it. We don't know how long we are going to be here anyway. And just be in love with the instrument.
That's such a romantic answer.
Yeah, and another one, play in shadow.
Get out of the light. What are you doing?
Yeah. Put lighter clothes on. That's were the answers. So this is the mentality of Fujara player. It's not like stage. It's a very intimate instrument. Playing for myself, enjoying myself, not for the others. So I'm a woman and playing it outside in front of people. That's already and not playing the typical. Yeah.
No, I'm teasing. I think that's great though, trying to adapt for, to fit the type of music you want to play and kind of pushing its boundaries just to see what you can do with it.
Awesome. Yeah, I enjoyed this journey. It's really cool.
Yeah, I have to admit, the first time I saw pictures of not just you, but a couple other people playing the Fujara, and I was just like, that seems really awkward to just holding it with 2 fingers, your thumb and your first finger, and then kind of pressing it against your thigh almost to keep it still. I'd probably break it. Just drop it mid-performance, oh shit! It rolls away from me,
Yeah, you get used to everything. It's not so difficult. But I recommend everyone to have one Fujara at home. It's really pleasant when you're angry and then you just play you don't have to play up. Only the low tones, long tones. And the instrument, when you play 2 minutes, sound gets bigger. It's happy that you are back. And then 10 minutes and you have a wonderful voice and you're fulfilling the room with these low tones. That's not what I'm experiencing with when I play normal flute, right? Scales. Yeah, I feel this. The tempo. I have to breathe too much. Not good. And all this goes away when you play some ethnic instrument because you just improvise. Yeah.
I love that. I kind of wish we had more of that in classical music. Just that ability to enjoy yourself and enjoy the moment, enjoy what you're doing, be very present, listening to what you're playing, and that's really cool. I want one now.
Yeah.
You see?
Especially one as beautiful as the one that you have. I mean, it's so beautifully engraved, and I've seen other ones that they inlay copper or something into it, and these really intricate, folky designs, and it's just beautiful, beautiful instrument.
nice to look at. Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I love also classical music, and I can also relax in classical music. But this is a different approach. Like also, then I play back the classical, and I have this in mind, this meditation, and this just enjoy the sound and don't take it so technically.
Yeah.
So it's like a therapy.
That's good.
Yeah, and it seems like it's a lot more forgiving. Like when you were talking about the woman yelling at you after playing 2 notes on the recorders, I had like flashbacks to when I took piano lessons, and I'd play whatever I was playing. They'd be like, "Ron, play it again," and I'd be like, "Well, it was just like being me and enjoying the work," and like being like, "Well, you're not playing what's on the page. Like, shame on you." And you're like, "Oh," there's just like that anxiety and. I know I'm not alone, where I know a lot of other people have probably had that horror story with their piano teacher that's just berating them, and then they know this isn't for me. I'm not allowed to enjoy classical music, or I can only listen, and I can't play. And I think when you can have that moment of like, this is for everybody, and you can really enjoy what you're doing and connect with the instrument in a different way, and there's no wrong note.
Yeah, this is what I'm also teaching, and I was teaching children, and now I'm teaching actually only like I have 11 adults.
Oh wow!
The flute or the whistle, or now I have 2 which wants to learn fujara here in Vienna, like live. And I'm teaching always improvisation. Like as soon as you know how to play 2-3 notes, let's improvise. Let's just.
I love that.
So. And I get these cases which are like were playing till they were like 17, and there was too much pressure, and they just went to study something else, but they have kind of nice bases with the flute, and then we just improvise and play nice pieces and don't think so much about the technique, but just enjoying it. And they're getting better through doing and relaxed. And so that's, and probably I have it from this, I didn't think about that like that, but maybe from this very first teacher. Like, I don't wish anyone to hate music only because, or don't play music only because of you can't, not good, next week, out next week.
Get better.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool. The world needs more musicians that are enjoying themselves.
Yeah, but at the same time, you still need to get some technique and only to restrict it. So to find really some balance, and everyone is different, everyone needs a different approach. But there are plenty of students and plenty of teachers, and everyone has a different style. So you just have to find the right thing. And the instrument.
Yeah. That's a great way to look at it, though. I like that.
So what's the hardest part about performing on the fujara?
I would say if there's a given melody, you should really perform. And in this moment, it's not about you cannot do that, but sometimes the instrument has his own, own mind. and tells you, no, tonight, maybe last week, every time I hit this note, you want it. But today, no, I'm not hitting this note. So I would think, like, every time, even if I had this big performance, it was my first one, and I was talking with the professional fujara player in Slovakia, and he told me, it doesn't matter. It's like, you will not hit that overtone, you will hit a different one, and you will just improvise back to that one. And do it in a nice style, and no one will know. Only you will know that, you and your fujara will know, like, that's what we were talking about. So there's always more improvisation, even if you have to really play the scores. And for recording, it's not such a big problem because you do it 3-4 times, then you hit. But I'm still like, I played like 1.5 years now, so I think there are instruments which are 30 years old, and they play differently. So
yeah.
I don't know, I'm still on the journey. And maybe I should play every day, not every second day. Maybe that's the problem. So, I mean, hitting really the notes, and of course, lots of air and air pressure, but I don't have these problems because I'm a flutist, so I got this education so I can really work good with breathing. The breathing up, down. And, so that's not the biggest problem for me. I'm just thinking about the sound and intonation. And but it's possible. And you play differently when you start. Like the worst thing is when it's standing for 2 hours and in the concert, and then suddenly you have to play and hit this note. The fujara says no. But if you are playing before, like some lower tones and so on, and then you hit the high note, then it's no problem. Wow. It needs to be warmed up, like, and you have to learn how it reacts.
Mm-hmm.
livable. It's also beautiful, but that's, I would say, also is the most difficult part. It's not like a piano. You just hit, here's the note, and I get it every time. No.
Right.
You need to treat me right, and I might perform. Maybe.
Maybe. But when she performed, then it's beautiful. Yeah.
The other question I had was, I know that you do these balcony concerts, but you usually play flute and with violin and maybe a quartet and stuff.
Yeah, my roommates, we did a trio.
You ever think of using the fujara in that?
I did 2 times. I think I didn't make a recording, but I did play on the balcony also fujara.
And how was that received?
The people downstairs stopped. They were looking up, what's this sound? Because when you hear violin and flute, is okay, cool, Vienna, of course, music everywhere, no problem. But fujara was what's this, outer space or what? And people, there was a big wooden thing out there. What was it?
What is this? They're like the sheep walking up. What is this?
We've been called.
From the park. No sheep's here. No.
Vienna gets shut down with a massive sheep just walking through.
Sorry, I'll go play in the forest.
Yeah, but this publicums also, our neighbors are some elderly couples, and they go to classical concerts, and so we play classical music, and they really enjoyed it. We played 18 concerts in Corona times.
Wow.
Awesome. Almost every Sunday. And it started, I saw when the Corona started, in Italy it was worse than in Austria, and there were these old musicians at home, and they said to themselves, we play on Sunday at 6 o'clock out and from all balconies. It got viral, and everyone was playing outside. And then next week, Vienna thought, let's do in Austria the same. And they did it at 6. I did it too. And then I thought, I want to do it every single week when it's not raining. And it happened to be 18 times. And then we got some gigs from neighbors, we played some weddings, some garden concerts. So even in this terrible lockdown, we could be outside with space, and so we were playing in a big garden party, everyone far apart. So and it did work. It was fun.
Oh,
that's really cool.
I saw a joke about people in America were I hope my neighbors don't start playing because none of us know how to sing, none of us know how to play instruments. If somebody starts screaming rock music, I'm gonna be so angry.
Vienna is really beautiful with music. There's this culture, and all these hobby players I have and I teach, to have such a basics in music, even if you're a doctor or lawyer, to play so good the music, to know so much about composers and going regularly to the concerts, that's something special. I don't think it's somewhere else. And also, if there's amateur playing, it's really good level.
Oh man!
So it's really enjoyable.
Yeah, you should post those as a live Facebook feed or something.
From the concert for my students when they play.
Yeah, for anybody who wants to watch. I mean, it'd be good for even us and Americans to watch it.
Yeah. Arts in America, people.
I have to go focus on I still don't have a website. That's terrible. And I still don't have any YouTube videos. I have just this Instagram, which is active now. So, but I see the importance, because we wouldn't talk here if I didn't have the Instagram, and if I didn't make the video of 2-3 months ago. So I see how important it is. So I will work on it.
You never know when it will happen, Is there a collaboration you would like to do, maybe with a fujara and someone else that you might not have thought of,
I love Hank. Do you know Hank? This is from Switzerland. It looks like a UFO.
No.
And it's also very meditative. And you can make percussion and also sound like a pentatonic.
Oh, it's a metallic shape and little dimples on it that you can play with your hands.
Exactly,
right?
but there are many kinds. But it comes from Africa. But in Switzerland, few 20 years ago, I don't know exactly, some makers start to do and patented it, like the real hang.
Okay.
And I was playing with one player. He was very nice. He passed out, unfortunately. And we were playing. I was playing flute, and he was playing hang, and it was beautiful. And I'm thinking to reach out and find some other hang player. That would be so beautiful. Like I would have fallen asleep next to these songs. So
yes, I'm like I would meditate to that CD online.
Yeah, and I mean, guitar is also possible, or piano. But I think more alternative sounds are more. But I'm open for everything, of course. Now through this Instagram video, some Turkish ney player called me, and I sent him video, and he will cut it together. I don't know how it works so well. He will cut it together and make a collaboration. So fujara and ney, so Slovakian folk instrument and the Turkish folk instrument, and we play.
Love it.
And he will send it when it's done.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's everything really cool. And someone who's making also drawings. Like water and sky and so blue and like a little bit impressionistic, and this everything sounds good with Vera. Come on.
Yes. Oh, that's cool.
So I'm also thinking, what could I do like more and more, because I see how people are really interested in this instrument. Although in Slovakia everyone knows it, but in this folklore way.
Right.
Playing these folkloristic melodies and then singing, and that's it. And there are already a few people like Marco Trachelmann in Germany. He's also doing kind of beatboxing and playing all these things. It's really amazing. And one guy also in England. So if you put Fuera in YouTube, there are almost all the guys which pop up.
Yeah, there was a guy on YouTube, Venny something.
Clements.
Yeah. And I watched a couple of his videos about like how he makes them and how the instrument works, and he even did one about how to make like a willow whistle for the spring. You know, it's like,
cool.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah,
it's fascinating.
Yeah, I'm totally not from the side of making my own. I would just buy. I'm afraid even, like I saw also some videos with him how to treat the instrument. So I should put this wooden thing out. I'm afraid something changed. So I'm a player, and I adore all makers. Like, how can you do the instruments so well and beautifully? And I hope I don't make any harm.
Right. Yeah.
How many instruments have you played, or do you collect your, like, if you learn a new instrument, do you try to find a way to collect it, or? Yeah,
but the problem with ethnic instruments is you have in one key, then you need another key, and then you need another key. So I have like these Irish whistles, which is actually my main instrument. I started when I was like 6, 7.
Yeah.
Like the normal flute is my main instrument, but this from ethnic side, I have 13 or 14 whistles, like low and thin whistles and penny whistles. And even in C major, I have like 3 because everyone has a little bit different color.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and that are all the whistles. Then I have the Chinese DC, I don't know how they pronounce it so well. And I have now one in C and D because I need for one kick, and then fast I bought something on eBay, so I get the different scale. Yeah. So every time I get the kick or possibility, and I see I need something new and more, then the money for that goes for the new instrument. I have like 20 instruments, but only 8 types yet, but I'm working on it.
You need all the different.
And the next thing, cool. I play something and post a video, and then someone writing me, "Do you know this instrument?" Like, oh no, but I will.
But I shall learn.
Yeah, shakuhachi is really difficult. I have one from Japan, and it's beautiful and it's tough for the flute. I manage scale and so on, but there's so much beyond it. So I'm looking forward to hear podcasts of you and shakuhachi player, so I can get inspiration.
Oh, it's amazing.
So you're the third person that's really talked about this idea of infusing improvisation into lessons and education, music education. It's really interesting to me, this teaching philosophy of using that as a way to really, bring kids in. Because here, usually that's just formula, for jazz players, So the jazz musicians, they're the ones that really get that education in improvisation, and all us classical performers, you don't get that. You learn the notes and the dynamics and the everything on the page. And
that's a big pity. I mean, the universities are changing. In Germany, in Berlin, there's also one whole institute about improvisation, but it should be on music schools as well. Like, there are some projects here and there. I heard of many things, but it's not like basics. Like, it's not everywhere. That's a pity. Yeah. But who likes it and loves it finds a way there. So I'm not afraid.
I love that mindset. That's good. So cool.
Yeah, and it's such a beautiful sounding instrument and an amazing history with it, and it just, I don't know, it's awesome. So thank you so much for sharing it with us.
You're welcome. It was a pleasure.
Thanks for listening to the Sounds of the World podcast.
I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll have links to everything in our description. So please follow those links and give them likes and subscriptions. Like we like to say, the world is a buffet of music, and it's time to eat. So go eat and enjoy and discover.
And on that note, I'm going to go have a bite and maybe a beer.
Hey, there you go. Bye.
Bye.